Wrong button. It's okay. Welcome in, guys, to another episode of Blockchain Brew Show. I guess this isn't another episode because we actually have Mr. Coin Baron here. Guys, if you haven't already, smash that golden like button for Mr. Coin Baron. We also have the subscribe bell. You're ring-a-ding-ding with that subscribe bell. You can find us on YouTube, X, Pick, and Rumble. Yes, we get the algorithm out there. We love that support, and we're excited here to announce Mr. Coin Baron on the show. Give him a round of applause to everybody. Where's this is the perfect time. I just don't know how to find the keys. There we go. Yeah, applause. Welcome in, Mr. Coin Baron.
Oh man, happy to be back in, man, because the last time we chatted, I think the market was completely different. But what I like is when people, during those bad times, just double down, keep working, keep grinding, because they know at some point it's going to bounce back. So happy to be back in, man, and I love the energy. So keep building, and let's... I think we're gonna have a good talk today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting market, man. We call it the build market instead of the bear market because you gotta do the grinding, man. This is where the diamonds are found, and then you get to show them off later in the bull run. It's pretty exciting times here for us. So since we've had you on this last week, we actually had some pretty, I would say, groundbreaking news with the Trump cancellation of the Kronos partnership. How do you think this is going to actually affect, Bro? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so quickly a recap for anyone that's not really into the whole situation. In August of 2025, so last year, we got the announcement that they're going to create a whole treasury company for the Crow token, the biggest treasury company besides the Bitcoin strategy by Michael Saylor. So it was a big deal. The Crow token flew away from like 15 cents to 40 cents in a matter of hours or maybe a few days. So a big deal. But after that, unfortunately, it got silence, more and more silence. And also back then, you started to hear some issues with, for example, strategy because they're going to start selling Bitcoin. Okay, so the whole narrative around strategy and strategy tokens that were going to slowly fade away. And then last week, we got the news like, yeah, this whole partnership, the whole deal, it's completely canned. No treasury, no ETF, and also no Crow integration anymore into True Social. That's the news. With the news also, the Crow token went down from about 5.3 cents all the way to 4.6 cents. And now we are recovering again. So it felt like total capitulation, but it's slowly restoring now. But it's still a hard time, of course, when you go to, I think, a price we haven't seen since COVID. So it's like a time machine.
You're right. I always tell people, or especially my wife, she loves trading those meme coins, is when you see those God candles up and God candles down, sometimes people are like, oh, look all the money I'm making. I said, someone's getting ready to dump, or somebody's getting ready to accumulate. We got this big red candle down off this news. What I saw, everybody was bearish. I was like, dude, this is the bottom. This is the bottom for Crow. I said, as somebody who likes to DCA into this is, you can't beat these prices. Like, Crow, how they operate a lot of the times, it's not like they're back more than 1-to-1. It's like the money that they're putting out there, it's not coming out of what did FTX do? Like, they borrowed against it and they were being degens with it. Crow is very mature in this space. This is the second bear market that they've been through, and it's nice to have that confidence in this token.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at also the overall exchange market, because we see Bitmart shutting down. We do see I lost that. So many Bit companies.
Yeah, there was like Bitmart and Bit.com or whatever.
Bitpanda, I don't know. Bit something. All exchanges all shutting down because or they couldn't get all the licensing needed, or they couldn't get enough volume to keep operating. Because truth be told, we're getting rid right now of the whole cowboy vibe, cowboy mentality. We're getting some strict rules, strict regulation, and whenever clarity is going to get into effect, and I don't know when it will happen, but it will happen at some point, it requires a complete different company than what we had in 2017. And from what I've seen so far is at least Crypto.com, they're up for the task. Coinbase up for the task. Kraken up for the task. But then even companies like Binance, they're not getting a license in Europe right now. So it's an interesting time. But yeah, let's see.
Well, the thing too, I don't know if you ever used Bitmart or the other Bit one that shut down. Nobody knows, because the problem is they didn't get volume. People didn't use them. I can't even tell you the name besides the announcement. Like, and it didn't even shock the whole market. It's like there was no retracement when they got shut down. And you know, and I know that when you go to like an exchange like crypto.com, they're always doing updates on the app. The trading now is flawless. I love how the leverage, you slide the bar and it makes it simple. I like the fact that they got stocks on there. They're working on their, I don't know if they have them for you in the UK.
For you or what?
Yeah, we could buy the stocks on there and the prediction markets that they got working on. Like, you see a lot of the development that they have building, and that they're always trying to make their experience flawless and enjoyable for the users, compared to like Bitmart. And Bitmart, I don't know if you ever used it, but it was like super sketchy, and a lot of, they probably didn't have clean books like what USA has regulations. Like, they ain't gonna fly, you know. It's not here.
What was interesting though is they were the creators of the original perpetual. So the first exchange where you could do like a 100x, that was on Bitmart, or the other one, I forgot the name again, but this is unfortunately part, you know, of the cycle where we get rid of the weak players, and whatever is left, it will slowly get into like the stronger ones. And that's unfortunately how capitalism works. How basically we get a more mature market. And I think it's good, even though I do feel bad for the people that hold the tokens, because if you have a token of an exchange that does go down, I think the BMX token go down minus 90% in seconds after the announcement. It was absolute mayhem there for that token.
Mayhem. And that's why a lot of those AI bots too, trading off the news. You know, when they say something negative, like, ain't no automatically sell. You can't beat those bots. The bots are like Coinbase. You've seen they have an agents now. You could go over there and trade for you, which is, that's crazy how smart and fast those machines are when you put that time and effort into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And but I do miss though the times where we had a tweet by Elon talking about Doge and everything went up like plus 20%. Those times are over, but yeah, still, it's like news travels quickly these days.
Well, did you see that Trump is coming out with he's charging up to like $1.2 million a year to have early access to his truth posts? Like, I don't know how much earlier time you can have. I'm like, how do you negate that? You know, like, how can, let's say hypothetically, if I paid that money and I just live streamed it all the time on my TikTok, like, how could you negate?
It's like milliseconds. That's the difference. And people that have this intel like a millisecond earlier, they make money by arbitrage. They front run everything just a few seconds, and that's how they make money. It's a proven model, so people pay for this.
Yeah. So do you think it's going to be, that's illegal, or do you think that's kind of a genius move, even though it kind of is irritating at the same time?
It's a genius move, to be honest. Like, I've been looking at the books by Trump Media, and Trump Media was the whole company that was going to run this deal.
Yeah.
They made $2 million of revenue, and that's not much. They made very little money with the whole company, which is like API access alone. I think they can ask like $2 million per month. So, and people pay for it as long as Trump is president. The question though is, who's going to pay for it when Trump leaves the office? That's the big deal.
That's true too. Well, you know, he wasn't in office during the media being built in 2020 to 2024. And he still seemed to have a lot of power. And I'm kind of surprised, like, even with Obama, people go after his endorsements too. So the fact that Trump has a lot of sway, I think he's like 99 out of like 99 of endorsements that he's like, hey, endorse this person to be a senator or a governor, or whatever. Boom, they get through. It's like, geez Louise. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that will always remain, of course. And I think he has built like a pretty strong family company as well. So even though, let's say Trump, he will move away from his public appearances in a few years, his sons and family, they have created such big companies that they will still be an important name, I think, for the years, or maybe even decades to come. So let's see.
It's pretty crazy to think that he's 80 years old. They had the 250th American anniversary. Like, Trump was alive for like 2/3, like a third of America.
If I'm that active, that energetic at that age, I will sign for that right now.
Yeah, right. I was like, wow, that's good for him, man. That's his diet. You know, did you see him get carted out of the catering cart at the Turkey airport?
I saw that. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And then he let the news people go on Air Force One. They're like, well, we have threats of bombs. They're like, well, what about the news people? And they're like, I just send them on there. They'll be fine. He didn't even warn them. Like, hey, you get blown up on the sky. It's just in the news. It's just CNN.
It was all in the end. It was all fine, so it was okay. But yeah, if we had a bombing on the plane, I think we'd have had a different talk now at this point.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty crazy. So something I bring this up a lot on our show is we talk about Crow because obviously it's one of my favorite coins. But I see a lot of people, especially right now, influencers launching their own meme coins, and all of them have struggled in trying to keep the price moving up and come out with a new utility. And even Coinbase, they're like, no, we're not launching our own token. Even with stockholders, it's something to do with capitalist systems too. You always have to be trying to have a drive to build something on top of CRO. And as we're watching like the CRO token come down from this news announcement, like what's going to happen? You know how hard it is to maintain a token? Look at any token. Look at Solana. They're all down. They all take dumps. They have people who just own 1% of the supply, and they just like, well, you know, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to sell my 1%, and that is what it is. What are you going to do about it? And as a capitalist like society, like you can only have so much money to be able to buy up those tokens as they come out. And I think CRO is doing a good job with utility. I know that people are nervous about like the rewards and everything coming back down. What do you think they're doing with that, Mr. Barron, with cutting the rewards down? Do you think they're just having smaller volume because of the bear market, so that they'll temporarily lower the rewards and then bounce them back up?
I'm getting my phone right now because I have access to. It's called the Kronos app beta, and I cannot show much yet, unfortunately, but it's this is the new app, and with the new app, there's all going to be all kind of new incentives. We're talking about new airdrops. We're talking about new staking pools. We're talking about a heap of new things. And if I talk about attention, what can bring attention, I think the launch of the app in combination with, for example, marketing campaigns. And that's, from what I've heard, I've talked to, for example, the senior vice president of growth, Smith, Vachani, and they're going to go big really on like Gen Z, TikTok, Instagram. So if they can pull this off, have a good launch, a fitting marketing campaign, and also have a good app, because I think if you have great marketing, if you have a great launch, it's all gay. But if you have a bad app, it's not really worth your time. So far, I've been testing the app. It works really smooth, and that's a great start. I have some feedback items though, and I also told them that. But so far, they have been delivering on the bugs, they have been fixing, and they have been adding more features. So I'm quite confident that when it goes live, and the date so far is the 9th of September, but it's still, somewhere around the 9th of September. I think that could be a big event for Chrono specifically, but we have to wait and see, of course. And
we have to wait and see. Yeah, right. Do you think the Clarity Act's going to pass this year? Or do you think it's going to be after the midterms? We already know it's going to pass. It's just whether is it going to be this side or that side.
I think it won't happen before the midterms because the Democrats will block it. I think it's a bit of a pity because it's not like at this minute it's better, because currently we don't have anything. So getting this passed, I think it's only a net positive for the whole industry, and also for politics, because it will make it a lot harder for people to like Trump to profit from the whole industry. So I hope they will see the light, and I think there is a vote happening in September. I hope they can pass it, but I am a bit pessimistic about it. But I don't know how you are looking at it, because I'm just a man looking in from over the seas across the pond. So
yeah. The only person that I know that thinks that's likely to pass in September is Blockchain Backer. He's the big September guy. I think it's odd, because I don't know if you know how American politics work, that the Senate actually passed the Clarity Act already. And then it went to the House, and the House was like, well, we have to change some stuff up. So they changed it up. Now it has to go back to the Senate and see how they review. I'm like, you guys just voted on this like 6 months ago. It wasn't that much that changed, and there was a lot more eyeballs over here. So what happened? That's the difference between then and now. And I think a lot of it is just they like to delay. And I think that they will actually benefit from this, but it's the constituents that are having issues with it. And like with the X payments, if you saw that they have the incentive for like those stable coins of like, I say stable coins, but like they're trying to become a bank, they offer 6% on the dollar. Like,
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer. And I think a lot of the big banks are I don't think they know how to process what's the future. You know, they're very uncertain about it. And I think that's something that shocks them, because I think they're privy to a lot of inside information, whether they want to admit it or not. And now they're entering a realm where they have to compete with people like me and you who are quicker to the gun and can get ahead of them on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, regarding the X money though, it's not available here outside of the US, I believe.
Oh, no way.
So I cannot show you like the card yet, but what I did read though is that it requires a subscription, I believe, of some sort, so premium or premium plus, and depending on what kind of subscription. So I think the 6% sounds really good, but you have to do your own research, right? Because you're gonna pay, I think it's $50 per month for the premium plus. So is it worth it for you to put money there on that account? If it is, yeah, go for it.
You have to pay $50 for the premium?
I think you got premium, you got premium plus. And only with premium plus, you get like 6%.
Oh, I didn't know it was premium plus, but see, that's how much I've looked into. I was like, dude, 6%, that's not so bad. Yeah, but I guess you got to put a lot of capital in there to make it worth it.
Yeah, exactly. But I love cards like this. So if anything news comes out, like we got Ether, we got the Bybit card, with X money, it's again not available, but it's so interesting to see how can you make your money work even harder for you, right? I mean, that's the best what we can do.
I'm pretty interested. On Monday, it was Monday or Tuesday? Wednesday, while we were live, somebody hacked into my X account while I was live. I'm like, guys, give me a second. I'm getting notifications over here. And I thought I had 2FA on, but apparently I didn't. But they got into my account, but we gave them the boot after like, 10 minutes and kicked them out. But I was thinking about it because my goal is to make X my bank. That's my bank, idea I have in my mind. But I'm like, how will X handle it when somebody hacks into your account and let's say they took your money? Like, I mean, just asking. It came to my thought as I was thinking about that. Like, do you have to have your ID when you need to withdraw something over $5,000 or something like that? Like, it's gonna be. I don't know. I never really thought about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I use quite a few internet banks, and I think you're right on the money there, because if I use Revolut, it's really big here in Europe. If you make a bigger transaction, you literally have to take out your phone, make a selfie with your license, and then, okay, this is really me. So that's how it kind of works. It's annoying, but that's keep you safe. Well, it should keep you safe at least.
Safer, exactly, right? I want to ask you, because I've been thinking about this, especially as I watched your clip that you made last week. Will Liberty, or Trump Media, they bought a shizload of Crow tokens, a lot of Crow tokens, and I think you were talking about like 15 cents. What are they just going to hold those tokens forever, or do you think like the next bull run, when we start moving, that's when they're going to keep us down?
So this is super interesting. So they canceled the whole deal. It's all done. No treasury, no ETF.
Yeah.
But I've been looking at the books, and they have to release, because they are a public company, they have to release their quarterly earnings. And they just did that at the end of July or beginning of August. And in those earnings, they did mention, we bought about $105 million of Crow. So that's quite a bit at 15 cents, because they also put the cost basis over there. But they did that also with an agreement with Crypto.com that they have basically a vesting or unlock schedule. So after a year, after the deal, that was, by the way, I think on the 25th of August, so in about 10 days, they're allowed to sell 10%. But if they sell 10%, they are going to realize big losses, because the token is down like 66% based from their the realized price.
Yeah.
But the lion part, they can only sell like after 2029, I believe. So they are forced holding, whatever. So for the next years, I don't expect them to really get rid of Kronos. Maybe they will, but let's see. I don't think I think it would be weird that they would sell right here, right now at these low prices.
Do you think Crow will buy those tokens OTC from them so they don't hurt the price?
So Crypto.com, they sold the tokens OTC to Trump Media. So I guess it would make sense that they would buy them back. Especially, let's say they sell them. Let's say crypto.com or Trump Media wants to really get rid of those at these low prices.
Mhm.
I mean, they basically make money on their trade. So I would always take that.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know out there, watches OTC stands for over the counter, and what that means is it's not dumped on the open market where it hurts the price chart. It's like, and they never left the original, never left anyone's hands, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's also really interesting. So now we have like Trump Media owns a bunch of tokens, and then we have crypto.com. They made a bunch of tokens. They did their remint, and it never really affected me because I felt like at the time, if people had enough stink about it, they would have went and bought more tokens and took over the nodes big enough where they could get more of the majority to vote in. I was like, well, it's whatever, you know. Though it's centralized. I don't believe in decentralized entities, to be honest with you. I think look at Cold Card. You know, we could go down a rabbit trail. Look at Cold Card. What happened? They had a hack because somebody was able to figure out the seed phrases and start draining tokens. Like, cold storage isn't cold like most people think it is. I think it's unsafe, to be honest with you. But people lose their seed phrases, fires happen, things get stolen, you get a gun drawn at your head. What are you gonna? Okay, well, here it is. You know, like, it doesn't necessarily protect you. And I think that centralized exchanges, much as we don't like them, are the way to go for now. I think there are like some ways you could do like DeFi pools and operate out of that. But circling back around, how do you feel like with crypto.com reminting, and then we have Trump Media having all these tokens?
Yeah, so I think these Trump Media tokens, they are completely separate from the remint. So it's really coming from the reserve of crypto.com because they have themselves also a shitload of tokens. So that's all fine. That's all fine. But the remint, that's the big question, right? Because the remint was going to be used for the treasury, and the treasury is no longer going to be a thing. So what are you going to do with those tokens? And the answer is that we don't have an answer to that yet, to be honest. I think they're going to be used partly for airdrops or something like that to really promote the new app.
Yeah.
But also, if I take a look right now at the setup, you can have a look right now in the wallet, to the reserve wallet, and they have minted about currently, I think, 20 billion tokens. So they went from 30 billion to 50 billion almost now at this point, which is a massive, massive difference. But they've only spent 5% of it so far, or they used 5%. So the actual unlock isn't as bad as the actual use. So far, there has been no big effect really of the unlocks. And I think as long as they don't have any big plans to spend those tokens on, nobody will feel it in their wallet.
Yeah, it's kind of like so they sold 5%, probably, I don't know, probably like 5 cents, and they're just selling it to us basically.
I don't even think they sold 5% because I can. Luckily, it's all blockchain, so we can see where those tokens are going into. And a part of those tokens I've been tracking for quite some time. They've been sent to Canary Capital. That's a different institutional party.
Canary Capital.
Yeah, that one. Canary? Can you say that again?
Canary Capital.
Okay, I'm Dutch. English is not my first language. But yeah, from the yellow bird, right? The yellow bird.
Yeah.
So what they do, canary, whatever, the yellow bird. Canary, they provide ETFs. So basically they send money to Canary, whatever.
Canary, that's okay.
Canary, to provide ETFs and to do all those other services as well. So it's not necessarily they spend those, they are seeding ETFs, so they can start offering those ETFs at a later point. Yeah.
You know, I was looking at this yesterday. Are you familiar with BitGet and how they did their large token burn?
Yeah and no. Maybe I can do a little refresher.
Well, this is back. I was just looking at this. It happened a year and a half ago, basically, and they try to compete with Crypto.com, and they're like, hey, you know what, guys, we're going to burn 40% of our supply. Whoosh, they burn their 40% of supply. The token goes absolutely crazy, People are so excited. And when I was like, I told you earlier, when you get these God candles up, this is where people take profits. And it's dumped way past where they originally did their announcement to their burns. And it's something that I was like, looking at the charts, which we can pull it up to, BitGet and Crow are both trying to do the same thing. They're both trying to provide a utility. And it's extremely hard to be able to do that. I just think that it's unfair to throw shade at Crow when you have other companies doing the same exact thing, just trying to keep their head above water. And Binance is kind of a unique one, to be honest with you. I don't understand why the Binance token is high as it is, because I don't know that all the utilities they provide, but I don't think it's as good as Crow.
Yeah, I think it has very similar strategy. So if you hold BNB tokens, you get discount on the exchange for trading with fees, etc. And I think they still have the Binance card. Yeah, Binance has been blocked and banned from the EU for quite some time already, so I can't check anymore myself.
Yeah, they've been banned from here. Though. Even in my state, we can't even use Binance.us. It's like it's banned. I'm like, I don't even know where they're getting the volume from. Like, this is bananas. How they're still doing their thing, you know?
Yeah, a crime. That's all I can think of.
Yeah. I think what Crow's doing is very smart, though, because I think, like you were talking about earlier, Gen Z. I think Gen Zers really enjoy Robinhood, and I think Crow is actually going after a chunk of their audience with the ETFs, the stocks, the trading. It's easy. Like, the trading's so simple.
That's funny though, because like America is not going to be the target audience, and they're going to go for markets like India, Brazil, Mexico, more those type of countries. And if I take a look at, you mentioned Robinhood over there, and I think like the idea of Robinhood, meme stocks, also just in general stocks, like it's going quite hard there. But outside of the US, Robinhood is not really important. Like over here, I know no one that uses Robinhood. Like it's
really.
It's really focused in the US, and that makes sense also because where you guys live, highest GDP, big massive market. But I think there is so much potential for a very similar product, but in a different market. Because where I take a look here, there is no company similar to Robinhood that's offering similar services. So, interesting.
That's actually really quite interesting, because here everybody has Robinhood. In fact, I was down at the Union Hall, like I was telling you earlier, and when I went down there, the guy had Robinhood on his phone, and he was looking at XRP. I'm like, oh, one of these guys. I see how it is, man. Robinhood scares me so bad. I've been warming back up to the idea, but when they did the whole Doge thing and they froze everyone's accounts from selling, it was such a turnoff for me. I was like, I don't know if I can ever do that. But yet again, Coinbase goes down too on like large volume. So it's like, can I really hold Robinhood accountable for that? And I'm pretty sure, gun to head, like that Robinhood guy got some phone calls that he was not expecting from some pretty high up individuals that probably pretty intimidating to talk about, and he was a young kid back then. So it is what it is. You can't change it. You just have to accept it. I think there's actually something like that happening right now, and AMC is getting a squeeze.
Interesting.
Yeah, we have some pretty good looking price targets from AMC, almost a 10x from where it's currently sitting. You want to pull up some Crow? Would you want to go over some Crow TA?
Crow TA? Yeah, sure, we can do that. You give me 1 sec, we can bring up the chart.
Yeah, we'll do some Crow TA. Do you think Crow had bottomed?
I think there's a higher than 50% chance for that.
Yeah. Well, it's real interesting. We had this theory, with Bitcoin last cycle, it reached an all-time high before the halving. You remember? And that never done that before. And we think history can tend to rhyme. We have a potential price target like in April if we get the Clarity Act, midterms go our way. Bitcoin could be at an all-time high by April or May next year, which is crazy to think about. Well, in the 2-week time frame, Bitcoin looks really, really good. I do think it's in the middle of rallying up to, if we don't hit an all-time high of 130,000 by like May, April, that we might hit like a target of 90,000. Then we make a lower high, and then we can have a regular cycle. But if not, it might be a cycle like last time.
Yeah. So what I'm mainly looking at now for Bitcoin, before we go to zero, I find this the only worrisome part for Bitcoin is that we are now just below here the 200 week, and typically if we lose a 200 week, it's bad. You can see here we lost the 200 week. We went below it all the way from about 62 to, I think it went down to like 58 here. That's the only scary part. If you close the week, and the weekly close will happen in 3 hours, it seems. That's the only scary part. For Pro, let's say I'm gonna give you two scenarios here. Let's say we have an actual breakdown. We might actually be able to get a retest, but we get some resistance. Let's say Bitcoin breaks down to 55k. I see a very valid scenario here on the rainbow chart, where we have the lowest band possible sitting at about, I need to bring it up right up close, sitting at about 4 cents. So we could have a potential final dump of 12%. That would be the absolute low, because what we see here with the rainbow chart is that every time we hit one of those, or the major bands, so the solid colors, or the dotted ones, you see that it tries to stick to those lines. It's kind of like a magnet. So this is the final capitulation zone I see for Crow. But at this minute, I can also very well see it completely recover next week, and then we are back here with this the middle zone. It also all corresponds to logarithmic regression lines. But if you get back next week, we are fine. And then the next target will be at about 7 cents, and after that we can even start talking back at about 10 cents. But that would be if Bitcoin has bottomed, if Bitcoin is still in the process of bottoming. Well,
what time frame were you thinking for like a 7 to 10 cent range? Because I'm just kind of curious if that lines up with the thesis of April and May.
I think it could be a lot quicker, actually. It might sound crazy, but the minute that if Bitcoin, I'm looking for Bitcoin on the 100 week. Where is it? This is, to me, is the big decisive moment. If Bitcoin makes it possible to cross at about 88k, we can also see that here in 2023. The minute it crosses the blue line, it goes basically parabolic. So if we are able to have a good reversal, and that I think that might be before the end of the year. That's kind of my idea. If we cross the blue line, let's say in January or December, I think Crow could already be back to 10 cents. That's kind of the target I'm looking at.
Yeah, so not financial advice. You're saying this is a really good time to buy.
If everything bottoms out as we think it is, this is an absolute crazy opportunity, especially with all the fear in the market. I see so many comments like Crow is that. Well, guys, Crow's been dead here and here and here. Crow's been dead every few months. And it always comes back. So that's kind of what I see.
Yeah, I'll give you a little quick peek on what I'm kind of looking at too. Throw myself on the screen. There we go. So when I'm looking at this too right now, we go down to the initially what made me nervous was the 3-month time frame, and I was screaming on top of my head that we topped, because you got the swing up to the swing down for the bearish divergence, and we haven't got the green dots yet on the 3-month time frame. But when we get the green dots, you can see it starts shooting up. But now when I'm looking at the VWAP, you definitely get that rounded bottom right here, and the doji candle to get that up, and it's three bad candles traditionally. And I think we got the doji candle, we got the 3 bad candles. I think we're getting ready to get a doji candle up and coming with the rounded VWAP, which is a very long time frame, is the 3-month. And then on the 1-month time frame, we usually come back down to probably on average about -36 before we bottom, and you can see bottom markets on the 1-month time frame. And then I think we're right there. We're at -40, and we're on the 50-day moving average. Now, we can break down, but I think what caused us to go down and touch the 89-day moving average last time was just there's so many exchanges that just kept cracking and smashing. And
it was contagion period. True.
It really was. And now, right now, we got bullish divergence on the 2-week time frame, with a slight swing up to a swing down. And what happened last time when we bottomed, we came down, but we had a double green dot on the 2-week on the market cipher B, got a red dot, green dot. Well, now we come back over here. We have a double green dot. We slide down, get the red dot, green dot. And I'm like, I think we might have bottomed. Like the money flow last time hit a -9. We're sitting right here at a -8. I'm like, this is very good evidence to say that we have bottomed. I've been a little concerned, like we might have one more wick down, but I posted on Twitter. I said, dude, I think we bottomed. I said I had a call in October, 58,000 was our bottom. It hit 57. Some exchanges stayed 58. The thesis is the zone right here is like a capitulation, but we're touching the 200-day moving average, and we don't usually break too far below it, to be honest with you. And to make your point with that blue line, I think we can come back up to 82,000, even that 89,000. I think that's going to be the zone. Now, we break above it. I think we're going parabolic, all-time high by April, May. Well, and that's how it went last time, very similar with that rhyming.
Exactly.
Now we bounce off it, then I'm thinking it's going to be like a normal cycle. Next year, it's going to be a little bit bottoming has already happened, but we're going to have a capitulation. You have a little bit more time to buy before we hit the all-time high around the halving. It's kind of how I've been looking at Bitcoin.
Yeah, what I'm interested in though, and I've never seen that. I expect at some point that the stock market will have a little bit of a dip again, because I see here that the real estate market is having a dip for the first time in years, actually. Typically after that, we see the small first effects also in the stock market. At least that has been shown in history. So far, the stock market is doing crazy. What we haven't seen ever yet is that the stock market is going down and crypto and Bitcoin is going up. So we also haven't ever seen the other way around, so that stocks are going up and Bitcoin is going down. It's such a weird scenario that we're in right now, but I'm really curious if that will have any effect going forward. I hope not, but it's curious anyways.
I'm curious too, because we're looking at gold on. Did we lose you?
Yeah,
okay. Oh, we lost him, guys. We'll see if we can see if we get him back or not.
Hi.
You're back. Oh, he's back. He's not back. It says this will need add a stage. You there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Gold looks like right now it has bottomed with silver, and it's about to start running on the longer, bigger time frames. And I'm like, is this going to be like what happened? Was it last year? Silver started running, and money was like, people are like, why is metals moving but not crypto? Or was Bitcoin going down into gold and silver again? Do you think metals are going to move?
I'm going to be honest, I am not really experienced in the whole, metal sector, so I have zero clue. I think we have seen the top for gold at least, and then I no clue.
I have no clue. Well, I mean, we just had you disappear on us, and I know that you said you have to go right around now about the. I don't know how to read your time. It's 2 p.m. our time. We just disappeared. We just disappeared again. I guess we'll get ready to wrap it up. Then, you got any last thoughts for us?
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock in the evening here, so I'm looking forward to the upcoming few weeks. I think if it's not the bottom, we should be there in like the upcoming few weeks, and if not, I think we'll start to see one of the most beautiful recoveries in crypto that we have seen in the last few years. So, as I always say, strap in because you will miss this move for sure.
Yeah. I agree with him. I think if we haven't bottomed, the bottom is very, very soon and very close. On that note, guys, I have one question for you, Mr. Barron, before we go off camera. Guys, thank you so much for having Mr. Barron tune in with us and hang out with us. Stay blessed, be blessed. The Blockchain Brew will be back here soon for the weekly close. All right, peace.
You do this every day? Yeah. Why? Because I love it.